welcome to MGP501. I'm Kev, and with me as ever, the Sheepdog, Anna and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
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 Why did Sheepdog's voice go so high there? What's going on? Are we all...
I don't know. I feel like
It's full of sugar.
I just
What do you mean he's full of sugar? Is he sugary? I'm not having this.
I'm not sugary
No one told me
at
we were
all.
getting sugary tonight.
I haven't had any sugar. No, I only had that cup of tea when I was with you lot earlier.
And I saw you eat pizza and cheesy chips.
I don't know
Okay,
that he
I'm
had
full of
sugar on
cheese.
either of those, though.
I'm
Yeah.
sure sugar
Mine.
is in cheese.
What?
Don't think so.
There's
I
no
think
sugar
that's-
in cheese. There might have been some sugar in the marinara sauce, but there's no sugar in cheese, surely. We need food scientists. That's what this podcast's always been lacking, food science. I need
true.
to know if there's sugar in cheese. This will be the second cheese-related thing we've had to Google today, because we were Googling earlier what constitutes a hard cheese, because I'm not allowed hard cheeses now, and I didn't know if that included like cheddar. Apparently it does. Apparently, the rule of thumb for figuring out if a cheese is hard is if you just kind of poke it and it offers resistance, it's probably a hard cheese.
Interesting. I feel like they all resist.
Well,
No, they're
that's
like,
why I was allowed
mozzarella.
pizza, because mozzarella is a soft cheese, which I am allowed. Apparently, soft cheese won't aggravate my gallbladder.
But like a laughing cow.
I imagine. If they'd have said no laughing cow, I'd have said, "Well, I'm afraid you're gonna have to think of something else." I'm having laughing cow.
Just let me die.
I've also been eating baby bells, and I think they're probably borderline. But I'm not giving up my
Babybel's a
baby
hard
bells
cheese,
either.
Surely.
Well, I don't know. I can mould the wax into little
You
animal
don't eat the
shapes.
wax.
A baby bell would hurt if you launched it. If I launched it at you at point
So
blank
would
range, it's gonna
so
hurt.
would a box of laughing cows.
No, yeah, I agree. I think neither of them should be eaten. I think laughing cow for different reasons, but they should both.
I don't think the rule is I'm not allowed to eat things that would hurt if they are thrown at people.
Well,
I'm
if I
allowed
threw
to eat
like
an
a-
apple or a
A
potato.
slice of Edam at you, that's not going to hurt, is it?
Baby Bell is literally Edam.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
bloody
It's round.
hell. Picked the wrong one there, didn't I? Bloody hell. But is it Edam?
Yeah, of course
Yeah.
it
No.
is.
Interesting. I don't think they taste the same at all. Interesting.
Well, that's
Maybe it's
because I
baby
imagine
Edam.
Baby Bell's had all the flavour taken out of it so that it can be eaten by tiny little human people. I'm on the light Baby Bells as well, not the normal Baby Bells.
Oh, jeez.
The low-fat Baby Bells, which really do just suck out the flavour. For those of you who don't know what's going on, by the way, Sheepdog tried to kill me last weekend, basically.
I did. Just to let you know, Kev, Baby Bells are semi-hard cheeses.
Well,
Are you
I
allowed a
can eat-
semi?
I'll just eat half the normal amount then.
But yeah, Kev's right. I did. We met up at the weekend to do the Best Thing From video that we said we were going to record on last week's podcast.
He
and
then made me eat a load of sand and I went to hospital.
Yep.
It's the main moral of the tale. Don't eat loads of cockles. Pab, you seem like the kind of guy who's into cockles.
Nope.
Why have you must have had cockles though, surely?
No.
No. I need a cockle expert. I was convinced it was going to be you. Listeners, tweet at RB6K and let me know. When you eat a mouthful of cockles and it tastes like you're eating sand, am I eating sand?
Yes.
Or is that just like all the cockle spines
Probably.
and
No,
things that are in
you're
there?
eating sand.
And also, while you're tweeting me that, can you advise that if you consume a lot of sand and it gets into your gallbladder, does that cause your gallbladder to get infected and hospitalise you?
Yeah,
Because-
so basically, we spent 2 days in Wales, and thinking back, I mean, we had McDonald's breakfast. We went to Denny's, the only Denny's in the UK, and had a cheeseburger. We went on a late night Tesco biscuit run. We then had a Harvester cooked breakfast the following day.
Oh, you
I had to
lifted
sample
it
the
up.
halftime cheeseburger at the football. So that's my second cheeseburger in 16 hours. Then I had a KFC on the way home. So I would suggest it probably wasn't the cockles. It was probably the accumulation of all those things when I already know I have gallstones and have been told not to eat anything fatty or any fast food. I think probably eating all those things in a day and a half may have contributed towards the incredibly excruciating gallstone attack that I had just as we were driving through the mountains on the way out of Wales. And I hid it from Sheepdog for a little while. We were listening to the Spurs match on the radio. He was having a lovely time in his own little world. And I was sat there thinking, this hurts. This isn't good.
Yeah, it was weird. You kind of went from just, I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable, to, I'm just going to pull over for a minute to check if that hotel has any rooms.
Oh, by the time I said that, I knew I was done. But I was absolutely downplaying it because I'm cool as a cucumber. But we pulled over at the first service station back in England. My main priority while this was going on, I drove for 45 minutes in agony. My first priority was, for God's sake, get out of Wales. I don't know. I don't know if they have NHS here. Get out of Wales. I haven't got international health insurance. So we got back over the border, got through passport control. First service station back in England, pulled over. I obviously, as you do, ran into the service station. I say ran, kind of limped, doubled over because I was in agony at this point. Tried to go for a poo because sometimes you think, a poo might solve the problem. I had a big, it was a big poo. I had a big poo. Didn't really help. I was still in a lot of pain. Came back to the car, got myself positioned in the front seat with the seat back and reclined. And just kind of my seat.
Right.
Yours got reclined later. I was in the front seat, reclined, Scott going, while Sheepdog's there next to me, wondering what's going on and what the plan is. And then at some point, and this is where I was kind of phasing in and out because of pain, so Sheepdog may have to take over the story. I just said something on the lines of, just to see how much that hotel is for a room for a couple of hours. And next thing I knew, I was throwing up in a hotel room toilet. So Sheepdog basically caused a poor lady to think that we were having a quick motorway bang session.
Oh, no,
you make everything awkward.
I refused to ask the question the way you kept wording it. And so I went in there and I explained to her you weren't feeling well when we wanted the hotel room, but we weren't sure how long we were going to be there. I think me being coy about it may have made it worse. I feel like she maybe thought that you were acting and I just wanted to bang. But I feel like we definitely made it better by spending 4 hours up there. I mean, to be fair, Kev said, I'm going to try and have a kip, sleep it off, see how I get on. He told me, well, I was texting several people about it, thinking I don't know what to do, including Anna, and everyone was kind of saying, well, how long are you going to leave it before it's a risk? And so we agreed that I think it must have been about 5, and we agreed that if Kev was still out of it by 7 and in pain by 7, we were going to call at least the doctor and see what happened, like either call A&E or call 111. And I think it ended up being about 7:30 because Kev kept going, I think I feel a little bit better. Oh, no, I don't. 111 were the usual helpful cells. Yeah, you were very much like, you kept telling me you thought it was getting better. So I'd be like, oh, he's feeling better now. And then you'd be like, oh, no, I'm vomiting again. We rang 111 and they were like, is he hot to the touch? And I'm like,
God,
what?
This is where you molested me. I forgot about this.
They were like, touch him on the chest and tell us if it's hot. And Kev's face was just like, he's just staring me in the eyes as I put my hand on his chest.
He touched me in the no-no zone.
And I was like, he's very hot to the touch, but he says he's freezing cold, which we thought was because he was ill. We thought he was cold because he was under the weather, but it turns out that our room was like 5 degrees because the heating was off.
Yeah, I find this out the next day. It's like, oh, by the way, I turned the heating on in that hotel room after you left. Brilliant. So I'm there shivering, thinking I've got the fever from hell, and you just haven't turned the radiator on, you maniac.
I didn't know. I'm sat there thinking, you're like, is it cold in here? I'm like, not really. And then when I came back that night, I saw that it was off.
You were lying there with your coat on the whole time. I do remember that.
I didn't have a coat on. No, I had a hoodie on, I think.
That's a coat.
Yeah. But I didn't feel cold anyway. You were boiling hot. So they were like, oh, we're going to get a doctor to ring you in the next 2 hours. So we kind of sat around for another 2 hours. That doctor rang and he asked like 3 or 4 questions and was like, get him to A&E quick. And so I had to then get you into your car in Anna's seat and figure out how the hell I was going to drive your car.
This is when I moved the seat all the way back and leaned it back because I couldn't sit up straight.
And because your car seat was already leaned all the way back, I had to drive like a little old man, sat upright, leaning against the steering wheel because I couldn't really
You would have been allowed to adjust that. I would have allowed that.
You said to me, oh, there's a thing down the side to move it, and I couldn't find it, and I was panicking about you, so I just thought, I moved it a little bit, and then I was just like, this will do. So I was just driving along, leaning on the steering wheel pretty much because I couldn't
You managed to fiddle with enough stuff to ball up my automatic wing mirror moving in and out and my automatic full beam headlights. Because I've had to fix both of them this week.
I dropped you off and they wouldn't let. Well, I think I dropped you off while I went to park the car, and then when I come back, they were like, "Where you going, mate? You can't come in here. It's patients only." And so I had to just stand next to the glass, the opposite side of the window, while we text each other. And you were just like, "Go sit in the car." And I got lost. I went to walk back to the car, and I got lost in the hospital grounds. I was like wandering around, and I kept thinking,
right.
people are going to just think I'm some drunk idiot who's lost, or some like patient who's just like lost his mind and he's wandering the grounds. But
At least they'd have let you in then if they'd have thought you were a patient.
for some reason, I had it in my head you're only going to be in there for a couple of hours. I meant to add, actually, sorry, that I got off on a bit of a tangent here. After really over-explaining that you were ill and we definitely weren't just using the room for something else, we checked out after, 3 hours? and you were
I still don't understand why you checked out. I'm so confused by this,
it was
thinking
like
back.
in
It
the
was like
height of it.
10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and you checked out of the hotel that we'd paid for.
I think I just said to you, shall I check out? And obviously you're out of it, and I didn't really realise how out of it you were, and you were just like, yeah. And so I just chucked the pass in the slot. And
Kevin says yes to anything when he's ill. He just doesn't want to talk.
So I was sat in the car park, and my friend was just like, I'd asked the man, well, where can I go? If I can't come in here, is there anywhere I can go and eat? And he was like, you'd have to walk into town. And I was like, I don't even know where town is. I don't even know what town I'm in. But he was trying to tell me
I didn't know where we were until morning. I had no idea until I saw the details on the hospital papers when they brought them around in the morning. No idea what part of the world we were in.
I think that's the same with me, though, that I only started to think about where the hell are we actually at that point, because I was like, well, hang on, if I've got to go try and hunt out food. And then I was like, well, the service station will have food. I could go there. And my friend was like, ask the hotel if you could have the room back. And you kind of said similar, but I just kept thinking they're not going to.
That's because by this point, by the time I said that to you, I'd heard people around me complaining that they'd been waiting like 12 hours, 14 hours. I knew at that point there was no way I was getting out
horrific.
overnight. I knew I was in there until the next day. They did eventually admit me. So at that point, we definitely knew. But I knew I was in there for the long haul. So I'm trying to send you back to the hotel because you're cluttering up the place, making the car
Well,
park
yeah,
look
I mean,
untidy.
even in the hotel, while you're like on the bed falling apart, I was just sat in the corner in like this little, like I was just sat upright on the bed, just in the corner, just wondering what the hell to do, kind of waiting for something to happen. And when I rang them and said, can I have the room back? And they were very much like, yeah, of course you can. Come and get the pass. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We haven't done anything anyway. And so when I went back to the room, I just sat in the exact same spot and was just like, at some point, they'll tell me what's going on. I'll get told to come and get him, to bring his stuff. And I sat in that spot for another like 6 hours, honestly. You randomly texted me at some point saying you were being admitted to be checked. And then you said you wanted me to bring your stuff. And I think at some point you were like, I think they're going to let me out. We can head home after this. And I was like, Kev, it's 4 a.m. Like, we're not going home. You'll sleep at the hotel and then we'll go home. And then you messaged saying, can I bring all your stuff out? So I was like, oh, thank God I stayed awake from like midnight till this point. I can now drive your stuff across
thinking
the
back,
town.
I have no idea why I needed you to bring my bag. I do. I needed a phone charger. My phone was going to die, and I needed my phone charger out of the bag. That's literally all you drove in for, just to get me my phone charger. That's all I took out of that bag. I didn't even brush my teeth. I had my full like overnight bag and everything with me. Didn't even brush my teeth. Just used the phone charger.
The funny thing about that was I tried to ring you to see how you were getting on, and you didn't answer. And so then I was on. I was ringing in the A&E, not like the emergency line, but like the reception, and they were popping me through to the department and all of this. And I'd rang them like 3 or 4 times and been like sat there with it ringing for like 5-6 minutes. And then out of the blue, you randomly just text like, I'm going into the thing now, can you bring me my bags? And I just thought, God, I've been trying to reach you and the hospital for ages now. You're like, bring my bags. And if we'd have communicated at all, I'd have been saying to you, don't worry about it. Like, you don't need your phone. The hospital could just ring me back on this number or whatever. It would have been fine. That was my plan, was to give them my details so they could ring you. But then when I brought all your bags to you, you basically come bounding out on morphine.
I'd had morphine by then. I was absolutely fine at that point.
Really pleased that I'd brought you your You put your laptop in your bag, all of your random devices and entertainments and whatever. The charger we were a bit silly because I literally had the charger in my pocket when I left. I could have passed it to you through the door and you would have had a charger. I literally had it in my pocket. I took it back and was like, I could have given him this, damn.
I think the reason I took the laptop is because by this point I was kind of conscious enough to think, I don't want my laptop staying in the back of a car at a service station overnight. I'll have that with me, thank you.
Well, it was in the room with me. I
But I
lugged all our
didn't
stuff
know
up.
that, did
Yeah.
I?
I mean, your bag's really heavy as well. I'd like crippled myself trying to carry that
I'm a
around.
big, strong
but
boy. I have a lot of things.
the first drive with you and back was horrific. So I was super nervous about redoing that journey. But actually, when you rang me at 5 a.m. and I was knackered and delirious, it was much easier to just drive. I mean, I did think the next day when it was light again, I did start looking for speed cameras and stuff because I had no idea where I was driving or what I was doing at 5.
In my
I must
defence
admit-
as well, for wanting all my stuff, we did think at this point I was having emergency surgery and potentially staying in for a couple of days as well. So I needed my
you're
change
right.
of clothes and all of my bits and bobs as well. But yeah, we got to like 5 a.m. I had my morphine, and finally the pain stopped after 12 hours of pretty much solid pain. They put me on all sorts of stuff. I had IV antibiotics, several doses of that. I had just the sloppy liquid stuff that they put in, anti-sickness stuff. And morphine, which I still hate. It's horrible. But goodness me, does it deal with the pain very quickly. And so by the time they actually got me onto the ward at like 6:30 in the morning, because they gave me a little bowl of Weetabix in A&E, which was the weirdest A&E experience I've ever had. We're all sat there in A&E. They know we've all been there all night. And the lady comes round with a little trolley saying, do you want cornflakes, Rice Krispies, fruit and fibre, or Weetabix? I didn't understand the question. I've never been offered breakfast in A&E before, but I had a lovely little bowl of Weetabix, and then they wheeled me up on a wheelchair onto a ward, got me checked in on the ward, and then they offered me an egg sandwich. And by this point, I'm not in any pain at all. I'm just lying on the bed, having quite a pleasant time. I had a nap for a few hours, and then it got to like 11 o'clock, and the surgeon came round and basically said, yeah, you're not having the surgery here. We're sending you home. You've got an infection in your gallbladder. We can't do the surgery anyway because you're chock full of blood thinners. So we'd have to wait a couple of days anyway. Here, have even more antibiotics. Go home and get out of Worcestershire, I think is where we were. Get out of town. I'm sick of the sight of you. But they did then give me a 3-course meal before discharging me, which again, never had that in a hospital before. Can certainly recommend the dining options in the Royal Worcestershire Hospital. I got a 3-course meal for lunch. I had a lovely vegetable soup, followed by some chicken slop and a little ice cream scoop of mash. And then I had a lovely yoghurt, which I can't find. If anyone knows where you can buy Muller Vitality yogurts, they're basically set Muller yogurts. They're delicious. Don't have them in our local Sainsbury's. So need to locate Muller Vitality yogurts.
Yes, you had to go through the agonising pain and the fear of an operation, but your morning was better than my, like, getting back to the hotel thinking, I haven't eaten, I'll have a freaking £9 meal deal from Smith's that was awful, and then getting like 3 hours sleep and going and having some absolutely grim vegetarian deli sandwich that looked like
I paid for you to have 16 hours in a hotel. If you only slept for 3 of them, that's very much your problem.
It's very much your fault. I spent 13 of those hours sat upright waiting for you to say anything that you had survived or not. I was just in wait mode. It was ridiculous. I hate wait mode, and I was stuck in it. But I was very relieved when I drove over to the hospital, and I don't know whether this was morphine or just the antibiotics or what, but you were more than happy to drive. You were very convincing, so I let you drive us home.
Oh yeah, there's no way. I felt like the worst I felt all night was that 15 minutes you driving me to the hospital because I had travel sickness on top of everything else. By the time we got there, I had the window open. I was basically hanging out the window because I knew vomit was coming.
I was very relieved when you just said, I'm not letting you
it.
drive home. I was like, thank God, because I think we're going to end up in a ditch if I drive home. I was knackered. I mean, I had forgotten I had to drive myself from yours, and that hour I was on voice chat with people going, please just keep me alive. Like, just don't let me fall asleep. Just entertain me. Although I did have this weird experience. There's a new Pokemon game out, like a ROM hack where people play like they're all merged together Pokemon. And this guy was excitingly telling me about the game. But it got to the point where all he was doing was seeing how many he could combine with Beedrill. And he wasn't just being like, oh, yep, cool, apparently it's all of them. He was going, you can combine Bulbasaur with Beedrill. Oh, you can combine Charmander with Beedrill. And after about 20 minutes of this, I said to him, have you realised you're literally just listing Pokemon? You've merged, like... I can't believe this is what I'm listening to you do, but it is the only thing keeping me from crashing my car. So I'm not going to ask you to stop, but I feel like I'm worried I'm going to get home and wake up and I'm still going to be at the hotel. And this has just been a weird fever dream because I can't believe you're just listing Pokemon and no one's, because other people in the chat and no one was stopping him. It was really weird. But I got home and for a while I thought I'm just going to wake up and I'm going to be back at that. God, it's going to turn out I was in hospital all along, just having a weird dream about Kev being ill. Just, some nonsense excuse that meant I had to redo that awful journey. But I was already, we didn't even mention that I was very unwell with sort of a flu-y cold thing as well. So
it's your fault.
Yeah.
You infected me.
Yeah, this is it. One of us caught something from the other with that. Your gallbladder infection, because I don't have one, infected me with a head cold. But I ended up having I had Monday and Tuesday off work because I was so rough. Like, I went back on Wednesday just feeling knackered.
I had Monday night off work after we got back.
Yeah, you went straight into doing you got back and you're telling Chris about editing and stuff. And I'm like, mate, have a rest. Like, I'm dying.
I still haven't streamed yet.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I've been in bed at like 8 o'clock every night. We got home on Monday. And I think I was in bed by maybe 7:30, and I just slept all the way through to the next morning. And that's pretty much been it all week for me. The antibiotics are absolutely wiping me out. For like right now, we're recorded late because we've had our quarterly meeting at the soft play place this evening. We got home from that about 8:30, and I've been in bed for an hour and a half. I was fully sleepy. Woke myself up, poured Lemsip down my neck because I know it's got caffeine in, and I've already had my caffeine allowance for today, but this is medicine, so it doesn't count. And I'm now buzzing off of that, and then I'm going to go back to bed and probably sleep until Tuesday. I am ruined because of the antibiotics, which are horrible. But yeah, bottom line, boys and girls, I had an infection in my gallbladder. It was very, very poorly. Still haven't had it taken out. And this could happen again at any moment. It's super duper. But we did record the return of Best Thing From. That'll be coming out on YouTube very soon, and there'll be a companion podcast for that. And we were planning on doing a whole podcast episode on the ordeal, but we've kind of done that in the first half of this podcast. So I guess we don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, I thought that a moment ago. I tell you what.
Go on. No, I was just going to. I was moving us on. If you've got something else to say,
I was going to move on to a different topic, but your journey home from our quarterly meeting was probably quite uneventful. But we were driving along, and Mrs. Sheepdog was driving back, and this car just went like flying past us at like, well, I don't know, 90, 100 plus. It was super fast, but it like, as it went past us, it kind of swerved into our lane, and she was raging. She was like honking the horn. Aggressive. It couldn't get past the cars in front of us, and she's honking away, trying to like tell it off, chastise it, whatever, raging at me about it. Even though I'm like, well, I'm sat here DJing the tracks for the family on Spotify. I ain't done anything wrong. And then I'm like, stop having a go at strangers. They're not gonna fight you. They're gonna stab me if they're annoyed. Anyway, car goes whizzing off into the distance. We're like, what the hell was that? And then suddenly a police car goes flying by much faster, and then another one goes flying by, then another one comes down the opposite side of the road, which is very confusing. I don't know what that police car was doing. And then we had another police car kind of behind us, but not going as fast as the others. And apparently we were just in the midst of a police chase, and it was just, sirens and lights and madness all around. And I did say to Ken, I was like, see, you didn't know they were criminals, did you, when you started honking at them? Like, they're not going to have stopped committing crime because you honked your horn, but they could have had a gun on them. They could have just opened fire on the car because they didn't like you honking, and she weren't having that. She didn't. She was just like, no, if I see people doing the wrong thing, I'm going to tell them. And I'm like, all right. And I'm the one who's going to get decked for it. But yeah, we had an eventful police chase all the way home. I did think when they went, but when it felt like they were surrounding us a little bit, I started to wonder what on earth we'd done. I was like, oh God. Is my number plate on some list somewhere from one of the many drives we've done recently? But no, it was an interesting. She kept saying, "I'd love to be part of that. I'd love to be in one of those police cars." I'm like, "You're basically in this car doing most of the speed they're doing in the chase. We're in the middle of it. If there'd have been a chopper filming overhead, it would have been great. We'd have been front and center." But it was a bit of a surreal journey home.
What I was going to say is because of all these shenanigans, I've not really played much in the way of games this week.
You played a little, weren't you?
Just linking back to the whole mature gamer podcast thing. I played a little bit of Fire Emblem in our Welsh hotel room on the Saturday night, but probably for no more than an hour or two, I would think. And that is pretty much it, because, like I say, I've been working during the day to keep the old YouTube machine ticking over, and then as soon as the sun goes down, my brain shuts down and I just go to bed. So my normal gaming time, I've been sleeping. So I have nothing to say for the rest of this podcast. I'm sat here playing with my new label maker, and I will allow you lot to discuss video games.
You should chip in with our discussions. It'd be the friendly, polite thing to do.
I don't care what you lot are saying.
I don't remember really going into much detail about this on a podcast last week, but I do remember mentioning it being impossible to make beds in Terraria at some point in either our preamble, or it might have been in the podcast, it might have been in the post. But I've been playing Terraria with Ollie, and he's super obsessed with it. He's like mad for it. He can't get enough of it. It's just, to him, it's the pinnacle of the universe, and he loves talking about it. I keep thinking this is the sort of game that we could have replaced Minecraft with on one of our...
Oh, no, I've tried playing this. Don't like it at all.
Yeah? Have you played it properly, though? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a couple of nights on it years ago and just didn't like it at all.
Yeah, but like Minecraft, it's evolved over the years. It's got lots of bosses in it. You can find the pieces and sell
I
the
hate bosses. You know I hate bosses.
Don't hate bosses, though. That was the whole thing we did in Minecraft, killing the dragon,
Oh, that was the worst bit. On my single player Minecraft thing, I did everything apart from that because I just don't like that bit. If you recall, when we killed the dragon, I just wore a pumpkin on my head and hid while you two went off and did all the killing. Me and Pabby just hid in a little shelter with a pumpkin on our heads.
Sounds right.
And then when we went and moved around the end, I would make you do all the jumping, and then I would just cheat and teleport to wherever you landed. I hated all that. I just wanted to build stuff.
Fair. Okay. Well, then, no, Terraria's not for you. Building in it is very complicated and overly clunky. I think that was the point I kind of made before with the beds. It doesn't seem as... I mean, I guess once you know, but I feel like Minecraft, you can kind of guess, and you've got the book that tells you, whereas this, it was like, well, I can't do the things, it's not working. But I'm enjoying Ollie teaching me about it in bits and pieces. He is excited when I go a little bit further than he's been before. I do remember saying that actually on the podcast. I think, we went to some mushroom biome thing, and he was excited he'd never been there, but I was literally just going digging around. It's got lots of random bits and pieces of crossover games in it and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here telling people about Terraria. They know what it is. It's been out for ages. But if you've never played it, it's fun. Obviously, Kev doesn't like it, apparently. But, you know, it is all right. It's decent. I'm surprised I hadn't played it before, really. Another one I've been playing this week is Fee on the Xbox on Game Pass. It's
Fee.
Just like about a little... it might be Fee, F-E.
F-E? Yeah, Fee.
Yeah.
I don't know, you're right. I don't
Little
know.
platform adventure game. Is it a bird? I think it's a little birdie thing. But you're basically going around a little forest, and you have to like hold trigger just the right amount that your little creature, which I think is a bird, it like sings. It sort of goes and if you get the right frequency, it interacts with like an animal that lets you ride on its back, or a bird that lets you, it'll open flowers for you. You're going around just interacting with the world, and there's not much jeopardy at that point. But then later on, there's these like creatures that if they see you, will just laser you to death, and your job is to kind of avoid them, be stealthy, go around them all. They'll attack. They attacked a big bird, and I had to help it out of its little jam and that kind of thing. I've been playing this with Ben because it's like rated at like 3+, I think, on Game Pass. So I was trying to find games that he could play that didn't involve dialogue, so that if I leave him to it for a bit, he can just crack on. But then what we found with this was he was enjoying running around in it, but he didn't really do any of the puzzles. So I was doing the puzzles and just like generally we're playing it together, but actually I'm kind of doing most of it. He's just telling me if he wants me to do something differently. So it worked for us. We've had a great time. It's a cute little game. I got stuck a couple of times where it looked like I knew the way to go, or I don't know, we had to go a certain way, but then it took me forever to figure out actually I needed to climb this tree and do this, that, and the other. But it's not that complicated. It's just, I think I didn't know we could climb trees. I think Ben had done the bit where it told you that while I was out of the room. And then when I come back, I didn't know the tree was part of the route, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been cool. It's just nice unlocking it and doing little bits and pieces. It's not a particularly new game. I think 2018 it came out apparently. It's
it
on
looks like it.
PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And yeah, it's cute. It's nice. I like it. I'm happy with it. I'll get through that with him at some point over the next week or so. The other thing that I touched on at EGX, I think I tried to have a go on it there, but didn't really get what was going on. And I made a bit of a mistake here. But the last Starship on Steam, I applied to join their tester team. I didn't know Steam did this with certain games. You can go on there and you can say, I like the look of this, I want to be one of your play testers. You click a little button and you maybe write a little blurb. I think I wrote something like, I do a gaming podcast, I played this at EGX, I thought it looked really good, I'm a big fan of FTL. I got an email the other day saying they'd like to welcome you onto their little playtest team. You download this, you can play the game. And so I got to do so. The mistake I made was when I loaded it up, the playtest was all in create mode, and it basically said, if you don't know what you're doing, you need to go and play our demo first. And I didn't know there was a demo that I could have literally just gone on Steam and downloaded. So the negative to my new finding was, if I'd read properly, I could have clicked download demo, played the demo of the game, and it would have been a relatively full experience of what the game can offer at this stage. But waiting around for the add-on, the playtest gave me less, if that makes sense. It will make sense in a minute. So in the creative mode, you can just it's unlimited money, and you can build what you want and set it all up how you want and that kind of thing. But there's no like battles or moving the ship around. You don't leave the system. You're just building a ship, which was fine. I was figuring it out. I learned how to do it. It was quite easy to figure out and intuitive to learn. But then they asked me for feedback, and I was like, well, I need to play the demo to give you feedback, really. So I tried to be sort of positive and say, it feels like it needs a story added to it, which obviously they're going to do. They're not showing the story off in the demos and the play tests because they want you to play that when you buy it. But I loaded the demo up. That seems really cool. I realized where I was going wrong at EGX. You start up, like in FTL, you start with like an empty ship with a couple of features and you just move on with the story immediately. In this, it's more, here's your ship, you got your crew, but you need to like stick an engine in the ship, you need to build the oxygen, you need to build the vents, you need to wire it all up, you need to decide what features it's going to have, where the guns are going to be, where the whatever's going to be, where do you want them to store the oxygen, where do you want them to store the fuel, how do you want to manage all the resources, and you can like buy and sell stuff on your ship. And effectively the options on the game are like being playing as industrial people who maybe go and get resources and buy and sell them, traveling cargo across the space, whatever sector it is or whatever. They've just got lots of different like passenger missions and that kind of thing. So it's not all in the demo yet because the game's not finished, it's being built. Apparently the release date, saying that the release date's coming up quite soon. It's saying on here the release date's like in a week or so, which can't be right because that's hilarious if so. Where are we? Planned release date 15th of Feb 2023. I need to pay better attention to this. This is fantastic. Game unlocks in approximately 4 days. So yeah, good timing for me to be talking about it. Get on it. It's good. I'm enjoying if you're into kind of the FTL type of game, I'm not saying it's exactly like that, but it's
we don't have to spend the next 3 years listening to you tell us you can't complete it.
Well, I don't know yet. I don't know how hard it's going to be, but it's
you're
like
allowed to just give up after like 3 months. It's fine.
Well, you know me, Chapman. I don't give up. I'm Mr. Perseverance. That's how I roll. So I got you through that ailment into the hospital. I didn't give up on you. If I'd have given up, you'd have been in a ditch.
I mean, I'd have probably just been in the hotel that I drove to initially.
Nah, if I'd have given up, I'd have just pulled the plug on you.
I wasn't. Never mind. I was never plugged into anything.
But yeah, it says on here, your crew awaits your orders. Build your ship. You can take prepackaged fleets or build your own. Grab everything you need from the local shops and then just power it all up and fly through the universe, completing missions, earning rewards, and upgrading the aspects of your ship as you explore, which sounds a bit more freer than the likes of FTL, because that was obviously just go from one sector to another. Obviously, it was a mix and match, but this is exploring a universe and just getting involved in what's going on. And that's on Steam. So yeah, check it out. It was fun. I don't know what price it comes in on Steam at yet. It doesn't say, but I'm delighted to see it's coming out soon.
Pabby, emergency, put an advert in. Thank you, Pabby. Anna.
Kevin.
Oh, blimey. What's happened there?
I sore throat.
I feel like you probably need to tell us all about Hogwarts Legacy now.
Well...
Oh, yeah.
Because, it's the biggest game release of the year so far. We're 35 minutes into the podcast. It feels like it's time.
Well, before it came out, over the weekend, while you were sunning up in Wales...
Yeah, I had a great time, as we've already covered.
I spent 20 hours in Forspoken.
Oh.
We're literally going to talk about a different game, isn't it?
I wasn't expecting that.
I know you want me to talk about it, but I spent 20 hours in Forspoken because I just went, you know what? I have it. Don't look at it as the best game ever and just go about your business. So I did. And I did it for a long time. Over the weekend, I was like, 20 hours over the weekend. I was like, that's a bit much. But yeah, I didn't go to it for what I thought it was. I thought, right, I've just got this area to clear. Let's go and clear it. And then, you got that bit to clear, go and clear it. So I just went on a clearing mission. And then I started to understand how... So when you go around the world, these swirly lights are everywhere that come from the ground. These swirly lights. And if you go over them, you collect them.
Like the magic.
And, yeah, the magic swirly...
Magic points that you can accrue. Like experience points, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you can
and
put
I
them
didn't
into
know...
your magic spells, yeah.
Yeah, because I was collecting them and I was like, I had 200. And I was like, why is it saying 200? What am I using these for? I didn't realise I had to go into my magic and then upgrade my magic.
Yes.
Because then I upgraded my magic, went on my way, and I only had 20. I was like, but I had 200 a minute ago. What am I upgrading? What is happening? And then it clicked. Oh, this is to put in the magic. So these things that I'm collecting help with the magic that I you have a spider graph, if you want to call it, and then you have blast 1, blast 2, blast 3. So obviously 3 is more potent than blast 1. So you upgrade it that way. It wasn't explained very well in the game, or I missed it completely. But now I understand that, and now I've done the areas, but I'm also going in the same way that it's telling me to go. So there's the main objective. I have all these areas to go through, but I clear the area except for the really hard boss things. I forget what they're called, but the ones they're animals that are glowing red. Don't
Mutants.
go near them. Yeah, they're mean.
Yep. Yeah,
they're very mean, so leave them alone. Don't just erase them from your mind. Don't go to them because they are mean. I went to one in I don't know, I was just going around. I thought, I'll take him on. He's only little. Yeah, he hurt me a lot. So leave mutants alone. Don't go to them. But yeah, I was just going through and I got to where I'm the main objective I was going for, and then I went in this big I came to a river or a lake, and I could walk on water, and then I went under the water. Now I'm in a underwater world, but it's normal ground, if you know what I mean. It's you've got you're underwater, but it's okay. It's it's very strange, but you're in there, and the enemies are harder. But you get when you see the spikes of magic, you get 2 instead of 1, and you find more resources and stuff. But yeah, I obviously I only got to that bit. I haven't gone any further because Hogwarts came out. But yeah, I put a lot of hours in that over the weekend because I just thought, I'm bored. I have nothing to play. I have every game, but I was just bored, and I thought, do you know what? I listened to what Pab said. I'm just going to go in there, listen to a podcast, and just go around and do my business. And
hadn't you already deleted this from your hard drive?
I did, yes.
We really need to get you a bigger hard drive.
Yes, we did.
Are they upgradable?
Yes. I'm surprised you haven't already done that.
It feels silly that it was a relatively new game that you deleted from the hard drive, but then went back to so quickly. How long did it take to reinstall?
Not long. I put it in before I made him dinner, and I come down, it had already installed and stuff. So
Okay.
it wasn't. It's big. It's like under 100 gig, I want to say.
Yeah, I don't think it's under 100. I think it's in the 60s, I want to say.
Yes, but it's just I have lots of different. I'm in that area of my gaming where I'll just put something in, let it install, and then just go and play it and just delete, and because the game saves never go. It's just the game files go away, if you know what I mean. Like I keep my saves, but I get rid of the game files. So it wasn't that long, but yeah, I spent a lot of time there. It's just an average game. There's nothing to hoo-ha about it. I do like getting around around the area fast. I think that's cool, because going between that and then into Hogwarts, I'm like, I miss the fast movement of Forspoken, because it is just, it's very fast and very free flowing. God, try to say that 3 times. And then like you get a warning come up, and then you just beat some baddies up, and then like I've come up against some like proper like big groups of like zombie people. Like I'm not lying when I say there's about 30 of them all around this box, and you just gotta like dismantle them all, which is fun. And then like you've got the so you have like objectives with your powers, so you can have like, I don't know, hit 40 with a back attack, and then it will make your powers stronger, or climb 500 meters. And you think, oh, climbing 500 meters is not a lot, but it is, because the walls aren't that big. Like I've now worked out how to get up walls, because there was, when I first started playing it, before we talked about it last week, I got to this wall and now I could not get up it. I just could. It wasn't even that big, and I was just like, why can't I get up this wall? So I left that and went to a different area, and now I've clicked it. Like you have to press the jump button to get up further up higher walls, and you have to find like little, just like not footholds, but just where you pause for a second and go, right, press jump here, and then you'll jump and jump and jump, and then you'll get to like the big like towering blocks of stone. There's what, like, I think there's a bug in it, because I was supposed to do like there's like these massive towers that you have to go up, and you can find those stuff, and there's this one tower that has like the black, because there's like these places with black swirly mist around, and you go there to unlock things, and there's this one tower, and can I for the life of me find out how to get in it, because it's saying, no, you've got to you've got to fight a big, like the enemies that are in that area. There is not an enemy in that area. It keeps showing me what the enemy is, but can I find it? No. And then like, every time I scan the area, it's saying the enemy is inside it. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to beat it if it's inside the building? So I think that there's a bug somewhere there that maybe needs to be looked at. But yeah, I couldn't do that area. But apart from like that, I have got every chest, every like secret area. I've collected up as many magic spikes as I can, like, if I can see one over there, I'll just jump and lolly myself over there. And I found a cat. There are like you know how you said there was cats in like the city? There's cats in the wild, and this cat had wings, and it was like a tiny little cat, and he had like tiny little dragon wings. And apparently well, no, not apparently, they meet you at your house, and if you go to sleep, they'll sleep with you. Like you cuddle up to, oh, it was so sweet. I was like, oh my God, I want that as my cat. He had wings, like furry wings. It was so sweet, and like you get to sleep with them. And apparently there's loads in the vat, because like the map is ridiculously big. Like it is so big, like really, really big. But then Tuesday came, and Hogwarts Legacy came out. Sheepdog, go and close your ears somewhere. Go away. Hogwarts Legacy. So weeks ago, I saw this thing on Twitter where you could go and like do all these quizzes to see what house you're gonna be in, what wands you're gonna have, what you look like. So the game started, I scanned my thing, signed in, and there was me, who I'd already made, and who was already not. He didn't tell me I was in slivering right at the start, but I got to I was there. I got to make myself even more, because they've got a character creation. There's lots to do in there. I spent quite a while in there because I'd made myself on the app thing, the website, but this had a lot more. So I've got blue hair now. I've got a scar across my eye. Yeah, that's cool. Excuse me. And then you go in, you're late coming to Hogwarts because of what just happened. There was there's a bit of, you go to Gringotts, which is the bank, and then something happens there. You go to Hogwarts, you are a late student, you are a 5th year, you start at year 5. So the other years you've been wherever, not quite sure yet. But you go in, you're late to the ceremony of the choosing hat, I want to say. Housing hat. The what hat?
Sorting hat?
Yeah, something like that. Something to do with a hat. I'm very new to Harry Potter. I haven't read the books. I haven't really watched any of the films. I tried to watch the films last weekend. I got to after the one with the maze, and it's literally about, oh, we need to kill this Voldemort guy, and I was this is boring. I don't really care that you need to kill this ghost man that keeps coming back alive. Just he can't kill you once. He's obviously not going to be able to kill you again. Get over it. This Voldemort has some serious issues with a child. Yeah, weird. But I couldn't watch them anymore. It got on my nerves. So yeah, but I sat down, and obviously because I had done this website thing, it put the hat on me and told me I was in Slytherin. So I don't know how it works when you haven't done that app thing. But yeah, my quiz had told me I was in Slytherin, and the hat told me. I was that's cool. I know it's probably just some, I don't know, random technology thing that I don't understand. But I was that's cool. That's cool. I like the fact that I've done this weeks before it came out, and now I'm in that house. So I go in that house. I like it. It's I like that, the dormitory and everything. I didn't want to be in Gryffindor or Hufflepuff. Everyone else wants to be in them. I'm not one of them people. I like the green and the snake. Going into their room, a big snake appears and you go through the door. Sorry, I'm rambling. So I go in there, and then you start your time at Hogwarts, and obviously because you're a 5th year, but it's your first year there, you have to learn everything about being a wizard. So you have to go class, you have to do, you have to learn everything. So the way you learn spells, it's it's so simple. It's I want to say it's bordering on childish, just because you have this pattern on the screen. You have to follow that button with your controller stick while pressing the 4 buttons, and it's that's quite babyish, and you only do that once. After that, you know how to do the spell, because it's just on a 4-way pad. You press R2, and then whichever one you want to use. So I have Expelliarmus and all the other ones. I only know that one, but you have ones that pick you up in the air. You have ones that are fire. You have ones that pull things to you and away from you. So you've got all them. I've just learned about things that I can disappear things. They all have names, but I couldn't tell you what they are. I just know what they do. So yeah, you go to lesson, you learn all them, and then when you have to learn more advanced stuff, you have to go and do certain assignments for that teacher. And then when you've done them in assignments, you can go to the teacher and they'll teach you a new spell that you can use. So one of them, what the assignments was, I need to go and get some potions, use the potions, and then because I've done that in the potions, the potion man will give you a new spell or a new potion, or just so you know everything that a 5th year is supposed to know. So you get to do the lessons, you get to do all that. I just learned how to fly on a broom.
Nice.
I like it. Like, I like the broom, but I need the camera to stay at the back of my character, if you know what I mean. Because, like, you're flying and the camera's wibbly and wobbly, and it's just a little bit off-putting because, like, I had to go through the...
If there's like a shaky camera,
guess.
you can turn off, I think.
But you had to go through, like, hoops, and I couldn't get her to go through in the way I wanted it to, and if I missed, I'd turn around and she'd miss it again. I was like, go. Like, she didn't have a very tight cornering. It was like a very round cornering. It was just like, turn around and go through the hoop. Like, but yeah, that I got to do that today, but I need to go on now. I think I need to go and buy a broom. Like, it was a school broom. And now I get to have a broom. So as you're doing all the assignments, and so like, and the lessons, you also have this backstory going on, and it takes you here, there, and everywhere. I've done the bad thing. I am too high level for what I'm doing. So the lessons I'm at are at level 6, and I'm level like 16. Because like, you get to go outside of school. So you don't just stay in Hogwarts. There's like Hogsmeade, and then there's like the outer areas, like the Highland and stuff. And you know, you're walking around and you see something at the corner of your eye, and I'm going to go over there and have a look. I've done that a few too many times, and now my level is up here when I should be down here. So the enemies I'm coming up against are higher than they're supposed to be, but I don't have the necessary spells to beat them. So like, some of them will be in like a shell, a bubble shell, and like protection, and you need a certain spell to break that protection so you can like I don't know, send them on their way. But I didn't have that spell to get through their bubbles, and I had to use like in the fight arenas, I want to say. So they don't look like arenas, but it's like a clearing, and you know that something's going to go down there. They had like these barrels that I could throw at them, like with my wand, and that's how I got through their bubbles. But I was supposed to have Expelliarmus, but I didn't have it because I've done that thing where I am too high level for what I have. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, whoops. So don't do what I do and go and look off and go everywhere and see everything and whatnot. Just stick with go and do some lessons and stuff before going out venturing in the world. But yeah, you get like Hogsmeade. I don't know if that is in the films, but it's a very good place. You've got shops, you've got a one shop, and like in the shops you've got like, well, in certain shops you have like a whole scene plays out. Like, I remember when Harry went to go and get his wand, and there was like all these different ones were picked out for him, and none of them were working, and one made something blow up, and one made like papers come out, and this happens in the shop while you're there. So that, I was like, oh, that's a great homage to like the games, because this is prequel to, this is 100 years before Harry Potter, though it does feel quite modern. But yeah, you have a mystery, and you have to solve it with this Professor Fig, and there's like Professor Weasley. I don't know if she's related, to the Weasleys that come later on. But yeah, there's just like names that pop up that I can go, oh yeah, I know that. For Sheepdog, there is I've met a lady that's in the same sex marriage with another lady, so that's been going on. Apparently there is a trans person in this game, so I've not met them yet, but it's all in there. I don't think JK Rowling had anything to do with the story. I just think they have the Hogwarts name and location. I don't think she had anything to do with it. But I've been enjoying it. People online are being stupid about it, like giving it very bad ratings because of who it's associated with. But then think about this, you don't go around and saying COD, don't play COD because of sexual harassment, but COD still goes up there in like 100% from people. So I think it's unfair to have this game being put down by people because of what the author said. Because
let's not
well,
open
you
this
do,
can
though.
of worms. Let's just leave that there because, yeah, we don't need to be having that discussion at 11:30 at night with 5 minutes left on the podcast, and Pab still hasn't. Because yeah, let's just move on.
Okay, but I've been enjoying it. Like, it's what you make it. Like, it's you get to be a wizard. Who doesn't want to be a wizard? Like, I do, and I like the fact that you go around Hogwarts and like the pictures are moving, the armors are moving, there's ghosts that are going around, I found a frog, I found like a chorus line of frogs. Never heard of that before in my life, but there was this little bandstand with frogs on it, and you like go towards it, interact with it, and it sings at you frog like, and that was fun. And there's locked doors that I can't open yet, and I'm like, oh, I want to get in there. There's the other doors that have like puzzles on them, like math problems, and I'm like, yes, let's do some math problems. Couldn't work out it at first. I was like, how do you correlate that picture with this number? But then you find a piece of paper and then it helps you, and you're like, I see what you did there. But yeah, I liked them because then you get to go in other rooms and find them. There's these keys. Like, I remember in one of the films, there was these like keys that flew. Can't remember which one it was, but they're around and you have to follow them, and then they open like these like cupboards, and these cupboards give you these coins, and then you have to take these coins to your like common room, and apparently it gives you a good prize, but I need to find 16 of them. Like 16, it's mental. That's a lot. But you also like you get to so because you've got your wand, well, your first wand isn't your wand, it's like a borrowed wand, so you only have like the one power. Excuse me. But you get to like scan areas, and when you scan areas, it will have like these little scrolls, and if you pick them up, it will tell you a bit more about, I don't know, a statue or a picture or, I don't know, a tree. Like, one of the coolest things I've done is this guy gave me a treasure map. I had to go around the school, and I was like, okay, well, I'm here where the X obviously marks the spot, and I was like, how does this work? I couldn't work it out, and I'm scanning and I'm using all my spells. What I had to do was get a box in front of this not mirror, in front of a painting, stand on it, use the pulley spell. The spell then pulled the picture like forward, but like the picture didn't move, but the picture inside moved. So you could see like a cabin in the woods. The cabin came like straight at you, and then it opened the door. You could step in the picture to get like the chest, and I was like, that's so cool. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. I've not seen it again, but I found that cool. But yeah, like, you get clothing. Oh my god, there is so much clothing in this game. So like, you find it has different colours. So like your green, your blue, your purple, and your orange. Obviously, your orange is the highest, and you put them on. And now, if you don't like what you've put on, but you want to keep the stats, as long as you have found a piece of clothing, you can make the clothing. Say the clothing's an orange, and you like the color or the style of a green. You can have the green like costume over the orange, so you don't have to like. I found these really weird dragon-eyed like glasses, and I was like, I don't like that because like your eyes look like dragon. I didn't like that, so I've got like these half moon spectacles on, but because I wanted the orange stats, but I wanted the green look. So I like that. Like I found like this really weird like sleeping hat, and it was stupid. It was the stupidest looking thing, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to put that on my head and I'm going to wear that around because it was stupid, but I thought it looked lovely. But then, yeah, there's lots to do in this game. I think people have said 70 hours to
70.
finish it or 100 hours to platinum it. I think that's what I heard.
So it's quite a short game then.
Quite a short game, yes. It tells you, like, as you go through the game, it tells you how much, like, percentage, how much of the game you've done. I think I was on 18%, and I've been playing it since Tuesday. I think I've put in 11 hours, so not a lot of hours, because I had a lot.
How long to beat.com saying 33 hours to complete
Oh,
everything.
well, there you go. 33, not for me, though. Have you met me?
Yeah.
But yeah.
At least 2 hours in character creator.
Yeah, this doesn't track the 8 hours you put into the app before you started playing it.
But like, I still haven't opened beasts. Apparently, you get your own beasts. I don't know if you get to fly around or have them as a companion, but I've not opened that. That's all still sealed up. There's also a thing like next to it, I think, brooms. So I've just done flying, but I haven't got my own broom yet. So there's lots to find, and obviously I've got the story to do, and like other characters come in and give you like little missions to do. So yeah, there's lots in there to do. There's lots. I think the spiders are frightening. I don't like the spiders at all. They are, because like they're as big as you are, and you're like, oh, they're like scary as like what's it called? Skyrim spiders. They are freaky looking, but I've been having a very lovely time on it, and yeah, I like it a lot. So that will be the game I will be playing for a while. See if I can platinum it, because it is fun to do. But that is me today.
Splendid.
Me?
Yes, you. Yes.
I mean, what have I played? Not a lot. Not tons. I've been on the Fortnite grind again. I don't know why. I don't need to be a
that so
Fortnite
valid?
grind. I don't need to be on the Fortnite grind. I finished the battle pass this week. So now I'm working through the bonus levels. I don't need to. 6 weeks left. 6 weeks left of the battle pass apparently.
What are you playing? Are you playing no build?
Oh yeah. Only no build now.
Is everyone playing no build?
I had like
Can
some
you
weird. No, yeah. There's like 2 different hoppers. You can do regular game or no build, and there's all different hoppers for what you want. If you want to play that, whatever you want. I was sat there in a castle, and in a minute in the game there are the rocket launchers are back, and there are hammers in the game which can smash down things quite easily and destroy structures quite easily. And I was sat in a castle, and there was a big chunk of the wall missing where someone had smashed it through. We were just hiding in it for a bit, just having a breather. And I sat there and I went, it'd be really good if there was like some sort of an item that you could get that could put walls back up. And like just I was just sat there looking at this big hole in the wall. I was like, I could do with just having that wall covered, so I'm not someone's gonna get an angle on me and shoot me in the back or something while I'm looking the other way. And then my mate said to me, that's just pretty much just build. That's just the build mode of Fortnite. That's the original Fortnite. I was like, I've just invented Fortnite. What I'm looking for is original Fortnite, where you build walls to protect yourself.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, it's been that long since I've played regular Fortnite that I'm now imagining ways to put building back into Fortnite. But yeah, Geralt's in there now. The Geralt quests are in, so you can.
Oh, is he in there now?
Yeah, Geralt's in this season. So it's quests for Witcher quests and what have you, and Witcher worlds going on.
Oh.
So that's been fun. I think this season has been. I think throughout the battle pass there is about 8 characters. I think 8 different, characters you can unlock.
Like, how do they do that? Do they just go to like, I don't know, the developers and go, can we use
Pretty
your?
much, yeah. We'll give you this. I mean, Fortnite makes tons of money. We'll give you this much money,
Yeah,
it's kind of a bit of free publicity. So I mean, they're not all like named characters. There are some are like their own like characters that they've designed and made and what have you. But like in this season, it's Geralt and the Doomslayer from Doom. They're in it. Then the rest of them are all like original characters. Yeah, I just continue to just like the grind of playing multiplayer shooters. The only other thing I have played any significant time of came from the Nintendo Direct in the week, which was
that was good, didn't it?
Which was quite good. There's many things there for Kev. I'm sure Kev got excited when he saw it. But
I haven't seen any of this because it happened after my new bedtime of 7 p.m.
There was two. There was a new part of the season pass for Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yes, my secretary let me know about that later on.
And text Kevin about it.
And then
that's what I said.
And then pretty much shortly after that, a new part of the season pass for Fire Emblem was released as well. I was like, oh,
huzzah!
Kev's just gonna be in it. Just delightful, that, isn't it? All the season passes.
Did you say earlier you're already on that, Kev? Or were you not listening to me and you answered randomly? Because you said a really bizarre answer to me mentioning that, and I thought, I'm not sure you heard me properly then.
I don't understand the question.
Well, I said there's a new Fire Emblem thing coming out, and you kind of said something along the lines.
That's what I think I was just replying to. I'm already playing Fire Emblem, but I do have the season pass thing for that as well. So
yeah. It was kind of an odd reply where I was like, you can't be, it's not out yet. But I just kind of rolled with it because you were like, yeah, I'm playing that now. And I thought, you're not playing it right now, and it's not out yet.
Know what I'm doing.
I was very confused. But two things for you there. And that was a good update when it probably...
There was loads of stuff. There was the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance stuff going on to the online stuff, Nintendo Switch Online and expansion pass thing, whatever it is.
Multiplayer Mario Kart on there.
Yeah. There was new multiplayer Mario Kart maps for Mario Kart 8.
I meant
for the GBA
as well as obviously
one.
GBA
Mario
one
Kart was on there as well. That was in there. There was all sorts of different games in there. And of course, they showed off the new Zelda game, which looked pretty good. Seemed interesting.
There's a lot of outrage about the cost of this when it seems quite right for a Zelda game to be 70
quid. Well,
because
it's because games have always been no more than $60 or whatever it is on this system, which has been out since 2017, 18. I think 2017. I think it's coming on 6 years this year, and all the new systems like the Xbox and PS5. PS5 started the trend of putting games up to $70, and this year I think they're going to start putting Xbox games up to $70. And now Nintendo is kind of jumping on the bandwagon, and people are saying, well, it's not even like I don't know. People still probably the amount of work you've got to put into it, but.
If they'd have said, oh, the new Kirby game is going to be £70 or the new Professor Layton, I'd have been like, fair enough. But, I mean, I don't like Zelda games personally, but Breath of the Wild was like the biggest thing they did and everyone was blown away. And now they're doing their sequel to that. I kind of feel like, if any game on the Switch is going to warrant that sort of price tag, it's going to be
it's
Tears of the
Kingdom.
You're
right. And it's just because it's a first. And the same happened when PlayStation said our games are going to be 70 quid from now on, and I was like, what? You know what I mean? But then you got to justify the rising costs of everything, of having people like this game's probably been in development for 4 years, if not more, probably 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, we are going through that, aren't we? Cost of everything's going up. But I was going to ask you whether you think what I immediately thought when I saw Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance were being on there. Do you reckon in the next Pokemon update they're going to do at the end of the month when they announce new things on Pokemon Day? Do you think they're going to be adding Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color Pokemon games to this?
No.
What makes you think that?
Because they can probably work on remakes and sell them that way.
I mean, yes and no. They've already remade them.
They could do. Probably not the advanced ones, but maybe the original Game Boy ones. Maybe.
Because they've already, I mean, Let's Go Eevee is a remake of the first one, and they'd already done Fire Red and Leaf Green. They've already done Soul Silver and Heart Gold and Omega Sapphire. And
I mean, they could, but...
Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, sorry. So they have already remade them at some point. I mean, we know they're up to Gen 4. That's what the Gen 4 remake was, is their fourth remake of the remakes sort of thing.
Yeah.
So part of me just thought, if they put these three on there, it means they've suddenly got the first 4 gens, and then
to be fair,
Gen 8 and 9. It's only 5, 6, and 7 missing from the Switch then. If they can do a Gen 5 remake in the next year and a half, they're literally missing 2 generations from the whole of the Switch.
Sheepdog, I'm not going to lie, they'll probably put the gens on one at a time over the next, and probably do one every 12 months. They're so very, very lackadaisical about putting games on these systems. They're not going to keep pumping Pokemon games out onto there.
No, you're right.
It'll be so slow. I'd be surprised if they don't go, this month it's Pokemon Blue. What about Red?
Next
no news about Red. But you're like, what? No, Red's in 6 months. What? That makes no sense. Yeah, but that's Nintendo for you.
You think they'd do like Yellow and then Crystal and then Emerald and just have the combo ones on there and not maybe worry about the single ones?
I can just see them doing the Game Boy ones for the time being.
They're going to absolutely do Red, Blue, Yellow, one by one. I'm expecting that to be their announcement, because Pokemon Day is coming up, and they always have big things to say on that. That's when they will say the new DLC is coming out. February 27th is Pokemon Day, and they'll have like a Pokemon Go event that they're doing, worldwide sort of thing. But they normally do like a full-on half an hour announcement thing. It'd be where they'll say, "Oh, Gen 9's coming." That's what they did last time. Gen 9's out now, obviously. So other than DLC, I just don't know what else they can really talk about. So it feels like this should be part of it. Otherwise, it's just Pokemon Unite updates and whether we're going to see Pokemon Sleep come out soon, which I laughed at the time, but now I'm kind of like, I wouldn't mind having a little game that tracks sleep and gamifies sleeping. That's interesting. I don't know. I need to sleep more. I don't sleep at all now. I'm on these tablets. I'm getting like 4 hours, 5 hours at a push, and yeah, Pokemon Sleep might be coming out at the perfect time for me. But yeah, no. Anyway, back on Nintendo Direct.
Anyway,
there's lots of stuff there. It looks really cool. Nintendo are quite busy.
The reason I was talking about it is because they kind of stealth dropped Metroid Prime Remastered.
People I know have bought that. Have you bought it?
I bought it. I've been playing it. I never finished that game. I don't know what it was, but I have such a strong sense of nostalgia for that game. So I was like, immediately, I'm getting this now. And I've played, like I say, about the opening probably 90 minutes or so. I haven't played tons of it. I've played the opening half an hour twice, because you start off the game, you land on a big spaceship, you run around for a bit, and you fight a boss, and then there's like a countdown sequence initiated, like a self-destruct on this ship, so you've got to kind of run out and get out of this ship. I didn't get out. I was like, oh, God damn it, okay. And it comes up, I'm going to go to your last save pit, and I went, yep. And then realised I've not saved it. There's no save points in this game, so it started me literally, the opening cutscene started again. I was like, oh, you are kidding. I'm not, yep, you're doing it all again. I had to do all that ship again. Get out. I did it. I got out of it in like record time. I think I must have been like speed running that, because I knew what I had to do. I got out of that spaceship onto my own little ship, zipped off to a planet, and then that's where I was like, okay, I remember this. I don't remember any of the spaceshipping at the start, but I remember landing on this planet, wandering around, and yeah, I have such a nostalgia of playing this on the GameCube and like doing scanning all the different things. That's what I was doing on the spaceship out in space initially. I was just scanning everything, because it's like you go around, it's all in first person, and you shoot with one thing, and then you push a button on the D-pad, and it goes into scan mode, and you scan like enemies and different artifacts and all different things. And I was just scanning all the things on the wall. There was loads of different things to scan, so I was like, I'm going to scan them. not noticing there's a timer kept ticking down on the bottom of the screen saying self-destruct. I was like, I'm just having a wander around this ship. It's nice having a read about all the different bits and bobs going on. And yeah, I've worked my way up to. I've now got the because after you finish that initial boss fight, you lose you have like a malfunction in your suit, so you lose like the morph ball ability, the missiles, and all. You basically lose all your abilities, which puts you back down to like a basic Samus, and you just have like your gun. So I've now worked up to get the missiles back. I've now got the morph ball back, and now I'm seeing very much. I don't think I knew what a Metroidvania was. Well, you know what I mean.
You say it every week.
Well, I didn't know when I was a kid. It's like saying when I was playing it on GameCube. I didn't know what I was doing, sort of thing. It's very visible to me now. Like, okay, so I got so far in it. I got the missile. I was like, okay, I've seen 4 doors that require a missile now. So I backtracked myself back to my actual ship, got all the way back there. In the process of doing that, going through all these other doors, realising I can only get so far with certain things. Like there's one, I open the door and there's a massive like lake type thing in there. And I was like, well, I don't think I can swim. So I'm not going into that. So that's clearly another way I've got to come back out. Found the ball that I can transform into. And then, so I started that's then unlocked another set of little areas that I can roll around in and just get underneath and find different things, find some missile tanks and find some health and what have you. And yeah, it's fun to play because look at it, and it fits on the Nintendo Switch. It's fitting on that, so it looks fine. I've only played it like handheld. I've not played it docked, so I don't know what it looks like on the telly, but it looks nice. It has been remastered. It does look like it's been made for the Switch rather than me looking at it going, it's a bit grimy. This definitely looks like a GameCube game. I think it looks fine. It's done a good job remaking it. It looks all right. So it's given me another good excuse to get on the Switch again and get playing again, because God knows I haven't really been playing Switch stuff lately, so it's been nice to just play it and just do it while I'm just got something on in the background, like I tend to do these days. Just have something on in the background on my iPad and just scooting around, looking at stuff, seeing where I need to go in a Metroid game, which I enjoyed the last one. I enjoyed Dread, and Primes are classic games. I do like them a lot, so I look forward to playing some more of it in coming weeks. But other than that is pretty much it. I was going to play some more Forspoken, but I've seen things of like saying, oh, they're going to patch it and whatever. And there was a smaller patch come out later on this week, early. I want to say Thursday or something like that. So I was like, I might try it again because it was behaving a bit funky at times. But yeah, that is all from me this week.
Well, in that case, we shall wrap things up there. I think it was probably about half an hour ago that I said we had 5 minutes left, so you two do like to talk. This gaming podcast, me and Sheepdog tried to just chat about our weekend, but you two have insisted on talking about games, you pair of monsters. Yeah. But if you do want to do all of the online Twittery stuff, you can do that at MGUK Podcast, or you can follow me at Lelujo.
You can find me at RB6K.
I'm at Mr. Lujo.
And at Pab1986.
And we will see you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening, folks.